Bitcoin is not private, and that's not an opinion, that's a technical reality. Every transaction is public, every movement is recorded, and today, that transparency is actively being exploited. Not by governments, well, actually probably, but by criminals. So in this video, I want to explain what that actually means, why it matters more than most people realize, and how to think about privacy and security properly if you're planning on holding Bitcoin long term. I'm Harvinder. I've been investing in Bitcoin since 2015, and I help people approach it sensibly, securely, and without taking any unnecessary risk. And look, this is an uncomfortable topic for most people, but if you are serious about Bitcoin, you need to understand this properly. So let's start with the basics. Bitcoin is transparent by design. Bitcoin runs on a public blockchain. That means every transaction ever made is visible. Anyone can see when Bitcoin moves, how much moves, which addresses are involved. There are no names attached on the blockchain itself, but the data is completely open, and that matters. Bitcoin was not designed to be private. It was designed to be verifiable, censorship resistant, and trustless. That transparency is part of what makes Bitcoin strong at the network level. But it comes with trade-offs. A lot of people assume that because there are no names on the blockchain itself, that their activity is private. It isn't. A Bitcoin address behaves more like a permanent reference number. Once it's linked to you in any way, your transaction history can be analyzed indefinitely. And today, blockchain analysis tools are extremely more advanced, especially with the advent of AI. They group addresses together. They follow transaction flows. They build behavioral patterns over time. So the reality is this: if someone can connect a Bitcoin address to a real person, they can often see far more than people expect. Why has this become a real security problem? This is where things have changed in recent years. Criminals are now actively scanning the blockchain for large Bitcoin balances and significant transactions. Not to break the blockchain, but to identify targets. If someone believes you hold a meaningful amount of Bitcoin, they don't need to hack Bitcoin. They target you instead. Phishing attempts, social engineering, SIM swap attacks, email compromise, and in extreme cases, physical intimidation or extortion. This is already happening, which is why privacy is no longer just a technical discussion. It's a personal security issue. Self-custody is not the same as privacy. This distinction is critical. Self-custody gives you control. It protects you from exchange failures, freezes, and third-party risk. But self-custody does not automatically give you privacy. You can hold your own keys and still have your entire transaction history visible to anyone analyzing the blockchain. Security and privacy are related, but they're not the same thing. And confusing the two leads people into dangerous assumptions. So let's talk properly about privacy coins. If someone genuinely needs on-chain privacy, Bitcoin is not the right tool. Monero exists because Bitcoin is transparent. Monero was designed from day one to hide transaction data at the protocol level, not as an optional feature, not something you switch on, it's the default. When you use Monero, the sender is hidden, the receiver is hidden. There's no public transaction history to analyze, no address balance to monitor, no visible trail for third parties to follow. This is achieved through a combination of cryptographic techniques such as ring signatures, stealth addresses, and confidential transactions. Now, the important part, this isn't about being clever or rebellious. It's about design intent. Monero prioritizes confidentiality over auditability. This makes it unsuitable for most use cases, especially, but essential for others. If someone needs strong transactional privacy, Monero does that exactly by default. Then you have Pirate Chain. Pirate Chain takes the privacy-first approach even further than Monero. While Monero hides transaction details using multiple cryptographic layers, Pirate Chain uses zero-knowledge proofs, specifically ZK snarks. In simple terms, this means nothing is visible. Not the sender, not the receiver, not the amount, not even the metadata that could be analyzed later. All transactions are shielded by default. There is no transparent mode. There is no opt-out mode. Every transaction looks the same from the outside. That makes blockchain analysis effectively impossible. Again, this isn't about hype or endorsement, it's about clarity. Pirate Chain is designed for people who want maximum privacy at the base layer with no room for user error. This is where people often get confused. Privacy coins are not better Bitcoin. They're different tools. Bitcoin prioritizes transparency, verifiability, immutability, fixed monetary policy. Privacy coins prioritize confidentiality, fungibility, personal safety, transactional privacy. You cannot optimize transactional privacy. You can't optimize for everything at once. Every system has a trade-off. Bitcoin's transparency is a feature, but it also creates risks if misunderstood or misused. Privacy coins exist because those trade-offs matter in the real world. So why does this matter if you only hold Bitcoin? Even if you never touch a privacy coin, you still need to understand Bitcoin's transparency because the risk isn't theoretical anymore. If you move Bitcoin carelessly, reuse addresses, or publicly discuss holdings linked to visible transactions, you do increase your attack surface. Good Bitcoin security today includes understanding what the blockchain actually is and what it reveals, minimizing unnecessary exposure, separating identity from on-chain behavior wherever possible, treating privacy as part of personal safety, not secrecy. This is especially important for professionals, business owners, and anyone with a public presence. The calm, sensible takeaway. So here's the truth. Bitcoin is not private. It never was, and it never will be. That doesn't mean it's broken. It just means you need to use it with the clear eyes. It just means you need to use it the right way. If you hold Bitcoin, focus on proper self-custody and operational security. If you need strong on-chain privacy, understand that Bitcoin was not built for that role. Different tools, different jobs. And above all, don't assume that no one is watching, because today, the reality is someone probably already is. If you want to learn how I approach Bitcoin safely and sensibly, including custody, storage, and risk management, I put together a free video that walks you through the full system that I use and the same system I take my one-on-one clients through. There's no opt-in, and you can watch it after this by clicking the link in the description. If you found this video useful, you can subscribe and like the video. And if there's a specific topic around Bitcoin or security or privacy that you'd like me to cover next, just leave it in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Thanks for watching.